I pulled out my gun and I shot, and she's not moving.
Tonight, a chilling 911 recording is revealing new details about a deadly shooting in Northwest Charlotte.
This is the man that is in the center of this whole debacle, this whole mess, Albert Alexander. Like I said in the Stitch video, a lot of people are trying to victim blame. They're trying to blame the young lady, Tyra Crosby. No, he manipulated her.
So this is supposed to be Albert Alexander, the reason why Tyra Crosby lost her life. The reason why Tyra Crosby was even at this house in the first place. This is him. This is the guy who needs to be facing the murder charges.
CMPD says 51-year-old Stephanie Alexander called 911 after she shot a woman she found inside her house. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Morgan Fogarty.
And I'm Gary Bro. Police say Tyra Crosby was killed.
It was extremely difficult for Crosby's family to listen to that 911 call. And tonight they can't believe what they heard. It was 5:21 a.m. on July 18th when Charlotte Mecklenburg police were called to this home on Porter Street in Northwest Charlotte. Police say 51-year-old Stephanie Alexander called 911 to report she had just shot someone. This is a portion of that 911 recording.
Charlotte 911, do you need police, fire, or medic?
I need police. Somebody just been shot in my house. I came home and I had a woman in my house, and I pulled out my gun and I shot, and she's not moving.
CMPD says this woman, 25-year-old Tyra Crosby, was dead inside the home when detectives arrived.
Okay, how old is she?
I have no idea. I don't even know the woman. She's inside my house in the hallway on the floor.
Is she flat on her back?
No, she's on her stomach. I can try to move her on her back. My husband told me don't touch her. Oh, God, what did I do? What did I do?
Tyra Crosby's family told WCCB News she was invited to the home by Alexander's husband. In fact, according to them, they have an 8-minute recording of Crosby's final moments. They believe Crosby was beaten and shot. The family spoke to us after hearing the 911 call.
I'm angry. I'm upset that for her to go from one emotion to the next, you get on the 911 call and I have a call recorded on my phone where you're beating my child, and then you call 911 and you're emotionally crying and saying your life is over.
I feel like it's senseless. I feel like she didn't have a chance.
I came home and I had a woman in my house, and I pulled out my gun and I shot, and she's not moving.
Criminal defense attorney Mark Jatan is not an attorney on this case. We asked him to give us his expert opinion about the voluntary manslaughter charge against Alexander after listening to the 911 recording.
She's shaken beyond belief. You can hear that, you hear the things she's saying. It certainly seems to be the charge that you would assume is correct. Now, the tricky part is just because it's a heat of passion situation doesn't always mean manslaughter is the correct charge. Time is one of the main factors that we deal with as between manslaughter and murder, because time can equal premeditation.
The suspect, Stephanie Alexander, remains out of jail on $250,000 bond.
This is the man that is in the center of this whole debacle, this whole mess, Albert Alexander. Like I said in the Stitch video, a lot of people are trying to victim blame. They're trying to blame the young lady, Tyra Crosby. No, he manipulated her. She's 25 years old. This man right here, he's old enough to know, old enough to be her father, probably old enough to be her grandfather. But he manipulated her. He is the one who is manipulative in between his wife and Miss Crosby. Going through his profile, you don't see any pictures of his wife. It's like he's just single, you know. You don't see any pictures of his wife. Some older pictures, way down there. But, you know, it makes you wonder, you know, this guy playing the field where they separated, you know, what's going on with it. But this right here is the guy who manipulated the young lady, right? So don't nobody try to victim blame that young lady, right? She was manipulated. She was manipulated. He met her at a club or something, one of those places. Let's continue praying for her family. And I do strongly believe that he should be charged also, because he's the one who's in the center of all this. He could have saved her life. He invited her over. He got into his flesh. He wanted whatever he wanted and everything, but he manipulated this young lady. He should be charged also. He was right there when all this took place, so he needs to be charged also.
Well, here he is. This is Albert Alexander. He is a married man who caused a 25-year-old young woman to lose her life. How did it happen? He invited this 25-year-old girl over to his house knowing that he had a wife and 5 children. The wife came home, saw the 25-year-old woman in her house. She pulled out a gun, tortured her, and then took her life. Now, we say tortured because Tyra Crosby's mother says that there is a voicemail recording of her daughter calling her and pleading for help because the wife had attacked her while she was at home with the woman's husband. It appears that she had just met Albert Alexander that night and he had taken her to their home. Many speculate that he was having marital problems and wanted to show his 51-year-old wife that he could get a younger woman. Now, mind you, this man has 5 children, 4 sons and a daughter who he seems to be absolutely crazy about. And look at his beautiful wife. I mean, she went from looking like this to a mugshot. Sadly, his wife of 5 children, these charges could be up from voluntary manslaughter, which she was charged with. She paid $250,000 bond, got out of jail, but she has to go back to court in August. And in August, they could increase those charges to murder. I spent much of last night doing a background check on Albert Alexander. He's the 54-year-old man that enticed a 25-year-old woman to go to his wife, he and his wife's home, so that the wife could catch the woman in there, so I guess he could show her he could get a younger woman. I'm absolutely exhausted. This man's record is just... When this stuff comes out in court, I mean, he's typical, but it's just exhausting because you look at him and every black woman has met him. He's either somebody you dated, your husband, he is your brother, he's your nephew, he's your grandson. Just exhausting. He asked somebody else to marry him in 2014 after they helped him through a crisis. He's got a rap sheet. He's went from woman to woman living in women's houses. He's got at least five mixed match kids by different women. This woman looked like a Barbie doll when he first got with her. He married her in 2020, 2023. Look at her in the mugshot. And all of his social medias, they're filled with mammies, with black women pandering to black men. You shouldn't have to worry about a black man having no money. You should just get him and build him and let him live with you and just take care of him. That kind of rhetoric. Those are the type of women that he was so, and he's also into the whole, he wants to lead and the woman needs to follow his lead. And he's bald headed with a beard and a pot belly. Y'all, I'm going to stop. And I'm just going to wait till the case. It's time to cover the case. I'm not doing any more stories about this man. He has already, you can look at his social media, not even the background check, and see exactly who he is and exactly what he did. You know, as someone mentioned, black men are experts on weaponizing black women against each other. This is not the first time that he's done this either. This is just probably the first time that someone has had a woman that he has gotten pitted against another black woman. This is probably the first time that somebody's life has been taken. And judging by looking at his background check, I bet you if they confiscate his phone, which they probably have, there's video of it. Because this is the type of stuff that Albert Alexander liked. He liked to see black women fight over him.
And I'm going to use the word allegedly when it comes to the husband. I don't want no issues. But we know what it is. So it's something that I've come across on the father's page, And I don't know if y'all seen the video of the mother, Tanya. And it was a word that was used, lured. Now, I know when people are upset, they say a lot of different things, especially if it's your child. But what I can say about the mother and the father, they love their child. Correction, they love their children. So now again, I repeat, they use the word lured. And I hate the fact that people are saying that she was a mistress. That young lady was not a mistress, so I wish people would stop saying that. Now back to the word lured. Now, could there be a possibility that this was intentionally a setup to take her there just so that this woman can hurt this beautiful young lady? Y'all do know it's done all the time. And then everywhere I turn, she shouldn't have been in his bed. People placing blame on the young lady, but not on the husband. How trash of people to do that. How is it that you unalived the young lady, but your husband is still here? I don't understand that. I don't care what nobody says. This man has been doing this with other women. And then if you look at the mother's interview, she used the word they were beating her. So was the man and the woman beating her? I believe that's where lure came in. People really need to read between the lines, baby. That's all I'm saying.